Do you think it's likely there'll be a change of management in Iran? And we hear every so often from the son of the exiled Shah. He's quite active on social media. I'm wondering if there's nostalgia for his era, for his father's era, rather, and whether you see him having a future role in a future Iran.
I think there's nostalgia for a lot of Iranians. I remember as a child growing up in the United States, my mom really wanted us to learn Farsi, and she really insisted on that. And my father was very against it and was like, that's in the past. That country doesn't exist. The country that, you and I know, saying that to my mother, it doesn't exist anymore. And there's no reason for my children to even need to learn that. Of course, my mom, she was adamant about that. And I'm glad she was, because I am fluent in Farsi. And it is my heritage and my culture. But there is a sense, especially of those who had to flee, who had to leave everything behind. Someone like my father, for example, he was military. His father was military, not himself personally. But those were the first to be, they were the first to be killed. They were the first ones who were, them and their families, them and also religious minorities like the Baha'is. And so for them, it's very hard to think back to that country and think of the good days that once existed. I think Reza Pahlavi wants to see that. The son of the Shah of Iran wants to see that, and certainly wants to go back to those days of what Iran once was. Obviously, a very wealthy and opulent country, which was part of the downfall. Part of the reason for the downfall was it was a little too extravagant under the Shah. But resuming back to using those resources, having a wonderful country that Europeans and Americans and people from all over the world wanted to visit and see, again, the oldest civilization in the world. And so I think there's a hope for a lot of us that happens. Of course, none of us wants to see destruction, chaos, killings. Certainly Americans don't want to see, I believe, they don't want to see soldiers, airmen, our military losing life, losing limb, to go into a country that really, has nothing to do with them. In their view, for a lot of people in America, they don't want to see that.